No.
Now it should be starting. Let me see.
Yup. Oh, it
Is it
did
up?
that thing where it died instantly.
What do you mean where it died instantly?
It does that thing,
Huh?
you know? It happened with the Elliott Smith thing where you like try and start it and then stop and then it isn't real.
No, it's going
Okay,
right
it's
now.
live now.
Okay. Cool. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Jump scare.
Are you able to share screen, or should we just
Oh,
have
I
this?
can. Yeah, let me share the screen too, really quick.
All right.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
If it lets
All
me.
right.
Okay. Okay. Should be good.
Okay. Can we reorder the
Yeah.
bottom and make it not? I thought we were having an ad blocker. Remember when we
Hey,
talked?
you're like, we'll get you an ad blocker next time, and then we did not talk about
I like it.
Uh-huh.
ad blocker.
Keeps me distracted.
It's like Subway Surfer.
All right.
This is
That's not the right order.
This is the right order.
There we go.
No.
Well, bury me at Mako Creek in puberty
Fuck.
too.
All right.
There you go.
Shows how much I know
That's
about Mitski.
Wow, I thought you were doing research.
Gotta do your homework.
This is assigned to you.
Uh.
Or wait, no, because this time was not. This was a not assigned one. This was a mutual one. So I guess it doesn't really matter who starts, but you're starting.
I'm starting.
Or we could let our guests start.
Oh,
actually,
that's so kind.
why don't we do that?
Let's see that.
Wow. Hi guys, putting me on the spot.
Do we have Oh yeah, that's right. I forget. We're supposed to have chat open.
Giselle, maybe a chat moderator, maybe not.
I'll just open it on my phone.
Okay.
Before we start, because
I
we
don't think
usually wait till we
anybody
have. We wait till we have a viewer at least.
Yeah.
So let's see if we've made it to a video or a video. We have 0.
Based.
Right, we have one. That's you.
That's probably me.
Yeah.
It's probably me as the viewer.
It's really exciting. You count.
True.
What are you doing? I stream.
SocietyCore. That's the worst name for a fan base I've ever seen.
Hey, Cores, what's up?
Hey, Cores. Christ in hell.
What up, Core?
That's awful.
Yeah.
Can we start? Oh, there's 2.
Pog.
Shit.
Max, let's go.
Hey, welcome, Max. Thank you for being here.
Welcome to episode 4 of SocietyCore. Today we are going to be tackling Mitski, and we have a very special guest. If you want to introduce yourself.
Thank you so much for that introduction, Jonathan. My name is Audrey. A little bit of a I can't even introduce myself as a Mitski specialist. A little bit of a connoisseur. I have opinions, and I'm excited to share them with you all. So thank you for having me.
What's that mean?
Jupiter is a little quiet. I don't know.
Is that a lyric reference?
That'd be really funny. I'm a Mitski connoisseur, and I have no idea what you're talking about.
Or is that an audio quality reference?
I don't know.
Time will tell.
Yeah.
So okay, we're gonna get started then, friends.
For sure.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh wait, did we post that we're live on
Probably
Instagram?
not.
Probably
figure it
not.
out.
All right, I'm gonna put a little one of these. A little.
Oh. Okay, social media.
Yeah. A little bit of a social media connoisseur. How do I turn the camera? No? I think
Is the camera gone?
No, we're chilling.
Okay.
You're not in it.
That's really upsetting. Okay.
I blame my Best Buy.
So we got the albums. They're ordered. That's cool. Yeah. Mitski just came out with a new album. We'll be talking about that today.
Yeah.
Some exciting stuff. I've listened to it
Ah.
multiple times.
Oh, Max sending things to the wrong chat. I see.
Got it.
Oh, we got viewers on viewers now.
Oh shit, we're
Let's go.
slacking. Okay.
All right, you ready to take it away?
Am I starting this off? Is that what this is? Okay, well, so I'm new to SocietyCore here, but from my understanding, we're starting with the oldest project in the discography, and then we'll work our way up to her most recent release.
Yes.
So we'll be starting with Lush, and that's my introduction. You guys want to?
No, you're supposed to.
Oh, I'm supposed to talk about Lush. Okay, excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
All right, Lush. It is a very different project in comparison to the rest of her discography. It came out in 2012. So I think Lush is a really cool album because it's very experimental in terms of like she's really trying out a bunch of different hats. I don't think you've reached a point at all. I mean, obviously it's her first project, but to me, I don't hear like, oh, quintessential Mitski in any of it. I feel like she's still finding her sound, which is why so much of it is like you go from like brand new city to like something devastating like Bag of Bones. And it is like very different and even just sonically. So I really like it for its versatility, but obviously if we take her whole like discography into account, it may be one of her weaker projects. But I think it's a really strong start, especially because Mitski background is this is Lush is a student project. Oh yeah, we're both ill, by the way. Um, Lush is a student project, so she hadn't graduated university yet, I don't think, and so this was created in her undergrad, if I remember that correctly. So really fucking impressive for that being a student project. And I also think it's just so cool that it amassed the amount of I guess like viewership, fanship, viewership, however you want to say that, listenership that it did. So that's my initial take on it. I want to hear what you guys have to say.
Aiden, you want to go first?
Oh yeah, sure. I didn't know that it was a student project. That makes a lot of sense because it's pretty rough. Some of the songs just sound kind of bad. It is not cohesive whatsoever as an album.
Agreed.
There's some rough performances on there too, I think. But I do think, I don't know if I agree that none of it's quintessential. I'd say Liquid Smooth, like every Mitski fan should listen to Liquid Smooth. Other than that, yeah, the biggest weakness I'd say is kind of is actually the songwriting, I think. Just in that on some of the tracks she tries to write like a catchy hook and the hook's just not like that catchy compared to what she'll do later, or like the songs that are really devastating aren't structured super well, and so they don't really shine in a way that they would on later albums. And there's just like a consistent, like every track I'd say aside from Liquid Smooth like falls short in some way that has to do with, I guess, composition is the other thing, like songwriting and composition. There's a lot of weakness on display there. But yeah, for being a student project, it is very impressive. I don't know if as an album I'd say it's an essential listen, honestly. Probably my least favorite, actually definitely my least favorite, but yeah, Liquid Smooth is a banger.
This is gonna be an interesting stream.
Uh-oh.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
I listened to Lush and I'm like, I don't know how much I'm gonna like listening to 7 albums of Mitski. I think
Yeah, always with the hot take.
I think starting with Lush, I was just like, oh okay, Mitski's kind of doing her own thing, doing like her own like her own. She has like this type of songwriting. I feel like where it's like I would agree with Aiden where that was kind of the worst part. Was the songwriting, um, where it's like really different from I feel like what's like normal for songwriting structure, um, and I don't think it's different in a good way. uh, there'll just be songs where I'm like, oh yeah, that's definitely Mitski's song, and it's definitely not for me. But I think looking back at my own scores, I think I just kind of I didn't think it was like terrible. I didn't think it was great. So I think a lot of them I just kind of gave like sevens, and like
Oh yeah.
I think Eric I gave like the worst on that album, I guess.
Mm.
But
Valid.
I liked Pearl Diver and Brand New City. Those ones
Yeah.
I gave eights. So it was just kind of like it was all right. It was all right first album.
Those are high numbers for not liking it very much, I feel.
I don't even know what was going on if I'm being honest. This was a while ago.
Okay.
That's funny.
Got
I
it.
think I don't know. I think I changed some thoughts on ranking and everything after Elliott Smith, but
Interesting.
I think seven just kind of like it's okay, and then anything below seven's like it's kind of bad, and then anything above seven's like it's pretty good. So
Damn, that's gonna be difficult for when we have like another artist with a lot of
Aw.
really good.
Yeah, I look at like the average is 5,
Yeah,
just
same.
because I'm
Okay.
like trying to abide to that like 10-point scale. I totally agree. I think a lot of these she
Yeah.
just kind of hits the average mark.
Yeah.
Um, I do think her songwriting structure is really unique and it definitely develops more throughout her discography and you can see it. Like, I think this album's messy. I just think it's really messy and not cohesive. And I totally agree, structural wise, that there's like barely structure. But I do think her lyricism is really impressive. I think she takes some choices that are really cool and like Pearl Diver is an example. Bag of Bones, I think, is a fantastic song. Brand New City's fun. Um, and Liquid Smooth, of course. It's yeah, the banger. And I do think she channels a lot of Fiona Apple sound in this.
I was
Oh
like,
yeah. Yeah. I was
yeah,
gonna bring that
Like
up.
very Fiona Apple esque. And I when I first listened to it, I'm like, okay, are we just trying to be Fiona Apple? Because I
Yeah.
mean,
yeah,
obviously we know like a lot of her work and projects are extremely unstructured, but I do think she does it in such a way that it's impressive and it pulls off the fact like it works that it deviates from like a traditional song structure. And I could see why Mitski's music can kind of sound like it's trying a little too hard. And I got that throughout like my most recent listen of the discography, but I still commend the project for the fact that it took some liberties that were cool and creative, especially for like I don't know. I think 2012 that's a decent period of time to not be making stereotypical pop music.
it's within. It's like barely over 10 years ago. I think we broke ground of not being a stereotypical like pop singer with the at latest 90s.
No, I
so
know,
don't
but I mean for the amount of shitty pop that came out in 2012,
yeah, I
glad
guess.
she was doing something different.
No, that's fair. I do disagree that Pearl Diver is a good song though. I hate that song.
Skill
I think
issue.
it's real bad. Sorry.
Wow.
It
Wow.
would be a fun poem maybe. But like the chorus is just not, it does not sound good to me at all. The verses have some like yeah, good lyricism, but just
Mhm.
like yeah, that's what I mean with like the weakness in songwriting, where she just kind of has a refrain and sticks with it, and it doesn't sound that great and isn't that complex, you know.
He sounds
Which
weird
she
as
does a lot
hell.
better. Yeah, yeah. All right.
Silly. So where would we place it?
I think you introduced it, so you propose.
I have an inherent
I got
bias
my
with
answer.
music. Oh, do you now? I mean, I would give it like if I'm gonna take into account everything you both said as well, I would give it a C. I put it on C.
I can put it at a C.
All right, I'm good with a C as well. I think maybe later we might end up moving it down though.
Crazy.
If we need a bigger scale,
Crazy.
Yeah.
but I think it goes at the bottom for sure. Yeah.
I disagree.
Oh
Same.
God.
Same.
What could be?
I'm so curious.
Uh,
I have a feeling, but yeah. Anyway, let's retired from sad. Who's introducing that?
I think that would be. I think it makes sense for Jaw to go, and then I'll
All right.
go.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Retired from sad, new career in business. So,
The book report intro.
I think this is the worst Mitski album.
Okay.
I think it was only I just slightly liked Lush a little bit better, but as I was listening to this one, I'm like, oh no, this might be a long discography to get through, but I think again a lot of it was just kind of like most of it was mid. They're just like kind of average, but then there were a couple ones where I'm like, no, I do not like these songs. It's like Mitski kind of making some like twee music in some songs, and I'm like, Strawberry Blonde, not for me. I think my highest was Square, but I think kind of all the beginning stuff from Mitski I just kind of forget, and I don't think I really came back to either of those albums because I didn't care for them after I'd listened to them 3 times. But I think it was just kind of basically same vibe as Lush, but a little more. It was a poor execution, in my opinion.
You wanna go next?
Sure. I have a hard time. Like, I think Lush just has like a. I don't know, not quite as consistent quality, which is why I like Lush less. But I think these are both like tied for, or they're definitely at the bottom. I think they deserve to be in the lowest tiers. I really only like Class of 2013. Like that's the only song that really sticks with me. The rest, I think, like the overall quality of the album is just, I think, better, like track for track than Lush. Like she has improved as a songwriter and performer, but it just doesn't, to me, have like any standout tracks other than Class of 2013, but not even because of like from a musical standpoint, that song is just very raw and emotional and touches a chord with me, as it does a lot of people. I think she really just struck and channeled very powerful emotions very well with that song. But yeah, as an album, it's not a great listen. That's my conclusion. Yeah. What do you think, Audrey?
I think in terms of quality of the overall project, Retired from Sad is better than Lush. I do think it has an overall better quality, and I do think it's more cohesive. But I agree, it's still lower, definitely, on the ranking of everything. I do think that there are songs on there though. When I re-listened, I realized I was not giving the album as much credit as was due. Because I do think my initial listen, Retired from Sad would have been my D. Like, it would have been, like, the bottom. But then after listening to it a couple more times, I think I understood it a little bit more. I like Strawberry Blonde and Goodbye My Danish Sweetheart. They're, like, weird. They're not usual for what she writes, and I think that it was cool to see that. I also think they're catchy as hell and fun. Humpty and I Want You are great. I Want You is fucking beautiful, and as is Because Dreaming Costs Money. I agree with everything Aiden said regarding Class of 2013. I feel like it's probably one of her better songs in her entire discography, to be honest. And it is just because it's like she was really able to make somebody feel what she was feeling giving that performance. And I do think Mitski can go over the top with some of that kind of stuff, but she does it tastefully. I don't know how to explain it, but like she's still over the top with it, but it's like it's not derivative.
Yeah,
you know?
it feels unique and
Totally. It feels unique. So I really do like that. Um, yeah, as far as like ranking goes, I'd be comfortable ranking it the same as Lush, but I do think it was I think parts of it were better. I think Lush had better individual songs, but if we're ranking the entire project as a whole, I feel like Retired from Sad is better than Lush. I think it's more developed. And I'm hearing her a lot more in those songs than I did in Lush. Where in Lush everything kind of got lost on me a little bit. It was a hard listen where I feel like Retired from Sad was difficult to listen to for different reasons. I think it was just more difficult because it was like a little bit of a roller coaster thematically and
Yeah, I can see
but
that.
it sounded more cohesive. It was easier on the ears to me.
All right. So, for ranking,
we're gonna get crucified for putting this low, by the way. Like
I
looking at
think I
how
think do you guys want
popular
to put
some of
it
these
before
songs are.
right before Lush?
Where
Like
where do
on
you I
C as
mean
well.
I think it would be fucked up to put it behind Lush
I agree.
So we can put it in front
personally.
of Lush.
Yeah, I think it's
Alright.
fun.
Yeah. But same tier, that's valid. Yeah. 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 Oof.
Yeah, this is shaping up to be interesting.
Looking at the Spotify
Mitski,
stream and some of these
more like
tracks.
Midski, am I right, guys? Got him.
No, no, don't say
Shame. Shame.
I do. I want to re-listen, but I did listen to it multiple times.
If I were to
Just wanted
personally rank it, it's in my B tier. It's not in
Okay.
a C tier. But I understand, like, if we're taking into account everything that was said, I'm comfortable with it being C. But I do think it deserves to be higher.
Okay.
But we
Is
can
it-
come back if
Is it time?
needed.
Time for Bury Me at Makeout Creek.
Very me.
Yeah. All right. Now this is a Mitski album. I think this is the first one where I was like, yes. It's this feels like what I expected older Mitski albums to sound like based on what I'd already heard going into her discography, which
So
was
true.
like just selected tracks from all the albums and then all of Be the Cowboy and I think Laurel Hell. So I still don't think the quality is like she's not this is not Mitski at her best, but it has some really fantastic tracks on it. It finally has some of the all-time great Mitski tracks. To me, I think Texas Reznikoff and Francis Forever are just like chef's kiss. Love them very much. I think the album ends strong. I think it's, if I remember correctly, because I did listen to this a little while ago, um, the sequencing is pretty solid on this album. Like she starts to have more, be a little more cohesive, and start to really nail down the themes of her music too, with the lyrics. So I think it's good. I think this is a good album. Not perfect, not her best, but good, improving. Yeah.
Alright, who's next?
I'll go next.
Yeah.
So Bury Me at Makeout Creek was my exposure to Mitski. The first song I ever heard was First Love Late Spring. And I think it was recommended to me on Spotify, if I remember correctly, like back when I was in high school. I remember kind of not really getting it or understanding it, but I really liked her voice, and I think that's what drew me in. Was like, oh, she does sound very unique, especially on this project. I feel like this album is probably her first, like, I don't know, how you define an artist breakout album, but this is like her first album that has substantial commercial success. Um, and clearly has roped in a lot of people into being Mitski fans, myself included. So I do like that album, already for those reasons, but if I'm going back specifically to the songs, I feel like some of the stronger songs on the album Drunk Walk Home is probably one of my favorite Mitski songs of all time. So the fact that that's on the album is already like a seller for me. I do love Francis Forever. I Don't Smoke is great. Carry Me Out blew me away. I forgot how good Carry Me Out was, and I don't think I got it fully until giving it the amount of listens that it was due. And the Last Words of a Shooting Star is an amazing way to end that project. So for me, I think that this album is finally getting to the point where I'm like, yeah, this is a really solid fucking album. Like, she has sequenced everything well, as Aiden was saying. I feel like it sounds really cohesive. But something interesting to note, and I'd like to research this if anyone in chat wants to do it. I feel like she started recording in a different studio for this album, and I could be wrong, but some of the mixing starts to sound a little weird for Mitski, and I have noticed this to date that her mixing starts sounding weird around Bury Me at Mako Creek. Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, it's probably intentional, but it is just a little bit jarring with certain songs.
I thought the production was better.
Well, it is. It's objectively better. It is, but there's just some weird mixing stuff. I'll bring it up with specific songs later.
All right.
But it is a fantastic album, so I do definitely rate it much higher than Lush or Retired from Sun.
Price Texas Reznikov is like not popular at all.
I know.
It's
That is
fucked
kind of
up.
weird.
All right.
Yeah, Go for it, John.
Bury Me at Makeout Creek. More like
Uh-oh.
Bury Me at Makeout Peak. Am I right, guys?
Oh shit! That's
Got
not expected. I thought you were gonna say Mid Out Creek.
Mid-Out
Oh
Creek.
my god.
There are two Mitski albums that I really enjoyed. This is one of them. I think let's listen to this. I'm like, all right, Mitski got it. I was like, this. I think I was agreeing with Aiden. I'm like, this is what I feel like I remember her earlier stuff sounding like. But I think when Laurel Hell was coming out, I like tried and I went through and listened to everything, and by the time I was done and caught up, I just didn't. I didn't want to listen to any more Mitski, so I didn't actually listen to Laurel Hell. But I remember that one being pretty good, and I came back to it, and I'm like, all right, Francis Forever and Drunk Walk Home. I think those two are like my favorites. And then like every other song, I basically put at an 8, and then somewhere a little bit lower at like 7. But I think this is like really solid. This is just like a really good album overall, and I'm like, I understand the Mitski hype now. I would say this like feels like, for me at least, her first like great or like fully thought out and produced project compared to the other ones. So I really like that one. It's pretty good.
Nice.
So where are we feeling on tier? Because I would have it as a B.
As a B?
No.
I would have it
Oh
as an A.
my god. I'd have it as
I think-
an A, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
I'm
think-
fine with A. I don't think I would. I'm gonna probably ask for it to not be at the top of A eventually, but yeah,
I don't
I'm fine with it being an A. I do think it's enough of a jump in quality from the previous two that it like deserves a little more recognition, you know?
Yeah. Goated.
Oh yeah. Oh, we're reaching puberty
I think
too.
this is you.
Well, this is I would say puberty 2 is kind of like okay, I can't say quintessential Mitski yet because I do feel like we get to a peak point very soon, but
Oh,
I think Puberty 2 is a very, very solid project and a really good follow-up to Bury Me at Makeout Creek. It's not okay. Aiden's giving me stares. I don't think that it is as solidly structured or produced as Bury Me at Makeout Creek. I want to make that clear.
Mhm.
But I do think that there's a lot of really, like, individually, there's a lot of standout singles. I feel like Happy is one of those. Once More to See You is fucking phenomenal. Your Best American Girl is obviously, it's huge. Am I the biggest fan of it? No. I think I Bet on Losing Dogs is probably one of the best songs on the project. Um, yeah, and Crack Baby, obviously. One of my favorite Mitski songs. One of my favorite Mitski songs is A Burning Hill, and I love that the album ends with it. I think it's the perfect end to an album. So interesting start. I think it's jarring with Happy. Happy's a very jarring song, but I love the lyricism on this project. I think she's starting to develop more as a songwriter and get more structure in her music. So I would not rate it far behind Bury Me at all. And Aiden is suffocating in their chair.
I'm dying.
Aiden might just be wrong, and he hasn't even talked yet. You know.
Right.
Come on.
Isn't that so true?
No, you don't understand.
I'm so... Go.
Yeah. Can I go, John?
Yeah.
All right, track for track. This is so much better than Bury Me at Makeout Creek. Every
Oh.
single track is
Wow.
I think, like, it just wins out. It wins out for sure. Yeah. That's just what I had to say, and I can't believe that you're saying that it's like not sequenced as well or less cohesive. I think it's just better. I think also I think it's funny they say obviously Crack Baby's one of the best because isn't that like a controversial
Okay.
song?
Obviously to me, it is a very controversial song. So
I think it's fire.
I do think
love
it's brilliant.
I think this whole album is absolutely fire. This was the one where I'm like, oh, okay. I'm really enjoying this. I think this is not solid. I think this is great. I think this is a great album. It is quintessential Mitski. Everyone should listen to it if you like her music. And yeah, I love Happy too. It is
so
jarring,
good.
but like
It's so
it really sets the mood. I love Fireworks. Once More to See You is a banger. I Bet on Losing Dogs is just like, yeah, that's a peak track.
gutting.
Crack Baby, Burning Hill, all fantastic. And I think the like less popular tracks like still hold in a way that on other albums they don't, you know? Like they fit in with the album really well to me. And yeah, this is the first album that I loved and I came back to a couple times after I had to like listen. So I think it's definitely better than Bury Me at Makeout Creek.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Aiden's wrong, but Puberty 2, I think I was a little disappointed just because I really like Bury Me at Makeout Creek, and I'm like, all right, what's Mitski gonna cook up next? And then I was like, okay, sure.
What do you mean, okay, sure?
Because I was like, okay, so Puberty 2, I think a lot of the songs are really solid. I think I gave a lot of them 8s, but none of them like actually kind of stuck out to me at all. Except for Thursday Girl, that one stuck out as the worst track for me. And then there were just a couple more that I gave 7 that I didn't care about as much. It was just kind of like more of the same stuff, but I don't think it hit any of the real highs that Bury Me at Makeout Creek made. But that being said, I still think it's way better than Lush and Retired. So I genuinely, I feel like I don't remember much of this album.
I feel like you should re-listen to it.
I feel like I should probably re-listen to a lot of these, but I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because it is, I do agree, it's a really solid album. And after hearing Aiden's takes, maybe it's just the bias within me, but I do agree that what you say holds.
Thank you.
It is a really, really good project.
It's height.
It's oh my god. Okay, I see what you mean by like not. I think it's more low key than Bury Me at Makeout Creek.
Yeah,
Maybe
less fun.
like
Agreed.
uh,
Bury Me
it
at Makeout
has
Creek is so like
Like in
what
your
is it like
face.
grungier?
I don't
I
know.
mean with Townie, I don't smoke, Texas resident, like I
It
don't know.
it has. I think even though it like to me consistently not. It's not as consistent. It does have a couple more tracks where I'm like big standouts. Everyone should listen to that track. Whereas Puberty 2, it's like as an album, I think just better consistently. But
Yeah.
I don't know if on like the on average better, but the median track is lower, maybe if that makes sense, or
Yeah.
the peak track is lower. Yeah, like I don't think aside from I Bet I'm Losing Dogs, like there isn't anything to the same like that really sticks in your head in the same way as like Francis Forever does, but I don't think that that really knocks the quality of it as an album,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Like it's less playlistable, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
All right. How do we want to rank? Personally, I would definitely do a B, but I want to hear you guys.
I think we both have it A. I have it as my top of A, but I don't have uh but I have it as a full tier above my Bury Me at Makeout Creek. So I think we should put it in A. I'm fine with it being below since you both think
I'm good
less
with
of it
A
than me.
being behind Bury Me at Makeout Creek.
I can
Alright.
compromise there. But please everyone listen to it. Come on. It's a banger. Jaw, you're up. Great. Yeah.
All right, so Be the Cowboy. For some reason, I had a feeling that I had like really listened to this album a lot and really liked it. And then I listened to it and I didn't like it as much as I thought I did, so I was disappointed. I still thought it was like good, but I was like, oh, this is gonna be complete bangers. And it was not complete bangers.
Oh my god.
I'm shocked.
What I think was really disappointing, I'm like, oh, Nobody, that's like one of the best songs ever made. I love that song so much. And then I went back and listened to it, and I'm like, it's no longer one of the best songs ever made.
Well, did you listen to it after it like blew up?
I think I did.
Because I feel like that can numb out some of the appreciation of the song. I know it did for me. Like,
Yeah.
I honestly I love that song a lot, and then it blew up on TikTok, and all of a sudden I found myself being like, skip.
Well, I got into it like because it blew up, and then I was coming back. I'm like, oh, this song's gonna be so good, and I came back and I was like, oh, it almost sounded different. Like I don't even. It's like I remembered it differently, which is kind of weird. But
I had a similar thing with some tracks, and I found that it actually for Mitski, it really mattered where like what I was listening on. Like speakers versus headphone versus earbuds, like it's very different, especially on Be the Cowboy,
interesting.
which was really interesting.
Hmm.
And yeah, I guess like if you hear a song over and over again, of course you can numb out to it, but like
Yeah.
I still think Nobody's fantastic, you know.
I think I still gave it a 10, but I think looking now, I'd probably give it a 9. And then I think my other favorite was Washing Machine Heart. I like that one a lot. That one's a banger. And then
That's the most popular song on the album, actually.
Really? It's not Nobody?
now.
Whoa!
Washing Machine Heart like blew up as
That's
well.
yeah.
I think most everything I gave like 8s and 7s, and I guess my least favorite was Old Friend, but I think overall I'm like, okay, I liked it slightly better than Puberty 2, but I still was like, it's not as good as Bury Me at Makeout Creek. It was still a fun album.
Wow.
Not my favorite, but I think my favorite part about the album is that it's called Be the Cowboy, and there's a song called Nobody on it. And a year later, Mac DeMarco made an album called Here Comes the Cowboy, and the first single on it was called Nobody.
Nobody. Missy, like, what do you subtweeted? Is that what you call that shit?
Mhm.
Yeah, she like fully gave Mac DeMarco shit for it. Like, she was pissed off about it. And that was around the time she deactivated her social media, I think,
Damn.
because I feel like she was just seeing, because I'm pretty sure they were, I don't know, I don't think they had the same label, but there was some crossover between the two in terms of who their management was. And I think they fully knew what they were doing in terms of marketing with that situation, from what I know. And I'm a huge Mac DeMarco fan, so like I totally like I looked into it at the time, but I do think that there was some kind of like ripping off there.
My memory of it was that Mac DeMarco said he literally had never heard of Mitski before.
Yeah, he didn't.
I
It was a
don't-
management thing. It
Well,
wasn't.
doesn't he gets to name his own albums?
Yes, but the management knew that like Mitski also had a project pre-existing.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
And they just didn't tell him. I mean, that doesn't read as intention on my part. Like, are you really intentionally like making a marketing scheme if you don't come up with the idea and all you do is like not raise a red flag because you're like, maybe this is actually going to be good for the album? I don't know. Like, there's such different albums.
Yeah, they're so different.
And it's not the same. It's not like it's the exact same title. It's like, Here Comes the Cowboy and Be the Cow. Like, that's very different.
At the time, they were
vibe.
very just. I feel like Cowboys were like that was an era.
Fucking cowboy. Yeah,
Yeah, just like
2019.
there's- yeah, everyone was wearing cowboy
Old Town
hats.
Road.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a full thing.
Yes.
Um,
What do you think about a horse named Cold Air, Jaw?
I think I gave it a 7, so I don't remember it much.
Everyone hates that track.
yeah,
Okay.
people shit on that track.
I love it.
I don't know the
Bang.
Mitski lore.
It's just like a kind of spacey, like almost spoken word, like very dissonant almost track. And so all the like Washing Machine Heart, nobody Mitski fans who like pop music are like, this song is terrible.
What is that? No, it's literally so pretty.
But it's a banger. Love it.
I think this album is honestly peak. Like I do think this is quintessential Mitski.
Yeah,
That's why I wanted
best
to hold
album.
off on saying Puberty 2 is quintessential. I mean it is in its sound, but I just feel like Be the Cowboy is Mitski's most developed album.
Yeah.
It's so mature. Like it is so mature based on anything we've seen before. It's extremely cohesive. Every song has a place on there. It doesn't feel like it's lost any course or anything. Sonically it sounds brilliant. Geyser is absolutely jarring, but she does that. She does that. It's a phenomenal opener, and I do think it frames the rest of the album really beautifully. Me and My Husband is so good. Like it's just so good, and so is Coming to the Water. I think Old Friend's brilliant. I think it's beautiful. A lot of it is just like it's very thematic. I feel like unlike a lot of Mitski's albums that you could kind of go anywhere in terms of like what they're trying to convey, if anything at all. This one genuinely has a concept behind it and is just backed really well. And every song, is intentful. Like it has a purpose, and I think ending the album, Mitski does a very good job of starting and ending her projects. I do think that that's a strong suit of hers. Ending it with Two Slow Dancers is just great. I just think it beautifully closes out like a very powerful project. So to me, this is like as good as it's gotten. I think she's really putting in all the power here from everything she's developed over the years.
I remembered something that was one of the big reasons that like I marked down her early work, which is she really has a lot of influence from Fiona Apple and similar artists and I had a couple in mind that I can't think of the names of, but like it feels like she's trying to do things that other artists do in her own way, and she, especially on Lush, and then less so on Retired from Business, and then even less so on For me, Make Out Creek, like she's still pulling a lot and wearing her influences on her sleeves. And I think Puberty 2, she does her own thing, but sometimes it's like jarring, weird, like not not always like the best, even though I do think it's a great album. And then I think on Be the Cowboy, she finally does her own thing, has her unique sound, like, and that's why I think it's her best, because she really perfected all of the kind of like themes, all the songwriting. Like she finally has consistently very catchy songs and really fun songs when she wants to, and then the sad, slower songs, like they feel well placed, they feel well written, and it's I think it's just the peak Mitski album to me.
Damn.
It's also just longer. I think that makes it a little that I think that adds to the maturity, that she took a little more time.
Yeah.
It's not just like I mean, I think there's 2 years. Puberty 2, she took 2 years for.
Yeah.
But yeah, she also took 2 years for it. There's more tracks, and it doesn't feel bloated. It still feels like just a normal full-length album. And so she always has these like really short tracks, like Lonesome Love and Old Friend, on all her albums. I guess Come Into the Water is the shortest on this one. And on other albums, like I guess she doesn't really have any on Bury Me and Make Out Creek. That's probably one of the reasons why it's a little better. But like Strawberry Blonde and Class of 2013, like the really short tracks, and those feel like sometimes it's like, oh, you could have made a full track and now the album feels a little like thinner and smaller because of it, but the extra length on Be the Cowboy and like the longer tracks, I feel really balance that out. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
All right, how we ranking this one? I think I would give it a B, but I think I would get shot. I would get
Be the
shot.
Cowboy?
Yeah, B for Be the Cowboy.
I
think I would get shot. So where do you guys want to put it?
We both are putting it as.
All right, I'll sacrifice my
Yeah, thank you. I believe for this special edition Mitski stream, Audrey's the tiebreaker. So.
All right.
I'm honored. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, S is where that belongs. Oh, now we're getting into we're getting into like a new era.
Am I talking about this one?
Brave New World. I think Audrey's up because you talked about Be the Cowboy.
Did I?
So this is one of Mitski's biggest pauses. I mean, it is her biggest pause, I believe, between any of her projects. It's 4 years. So we go from 2018 to 2022.
How do you follow up? Peak the Cowboy.
That was really good.
It was not.
So bad. That was so good. Agreed. That's so yeah, you're going into Laurel Hell with having just come off the high of Be the Cowboy, and I think that's really important because I think to fully understand Laurel Hell, it's really important we give context to why the project is what it is. So Mitski had gone on a bit of a hiatus. That's for a reason. I mean, Mitski is like around that time of coming out with Be the Cowboy, she kind of like stopped social media. There's a lot of things she just kind of she started slowly like crawling away from stardom or society or like any of the attention and retreated a bit. Because I think that with any artist, they get to a point where if their music starts becoming really commercially successful, there does come like a time where you're tied to your label and music can feel more like an obligation than a love. I think for Mitski, it probably may have, I mean, I don't want to make full assumptions, but based on what she shared with her fans, which is quite a bit, her label had forced her to make this project, Laurel Hell. And so that's important to understand in terms of like why it is what it is. I think she did a good job for where she was at. I'm not sure if this was truly a project she felt proud of releasing, like as it is, as it's full. But but I do think that's just important context because it makes sense that when you come off of a high like Be the Cowboy, you might want to take like a significant period of time to just, you know, chill. She planned on retiring from music, and Laurel Hell was going to be her last album. This was at the time where she wasn't able to renegotiate her contract with her label. So that's some information. I'm gonna dive into Laurel Hell. So Laurel Hell, I think, is probably one of her weaker albums. It has a special place in my heart because it's a breakup album. I do love it. I think it like was my breakup album. So there's a lot of songs that I think are brilliant on there. And there's probably bias, but some of the songs I think on Laurel Hell are Mitski at her peak, and then other songs are Mitski at her worst. So that's why Laurel Hell's a really interesting listen because it's like, oh wow, I listened to probably one of my favorite Mitski songs, and now all of a sudden I'm crashing down and I'm like, what is this? This doesn't make sense. I don't know why it's here. It feels like a filler. So, some examples with that. First of all, I think Valentine, Texas was an amazing opener. I was blown away by that song. I still am every time I listen to it. I think it has really, really just a special quality about it. But I do think the mixing is weird on this album, and Valentine, Texas is an example of that, where it just jars you when it breaks out into kind of like this. It goes from being so quiet and like a little bit of reverberation, but like isolated vocals to just this explosion of instrumentation. And it's beautiful, but it's also like, whoa, it sounds like a mixing issue kind of. Um, I think Working for the Knife makes sense for it to be the first single she released. It is in spite of the industry. She is like directly being like, I am working for the knife. I'm working for my label. I'm like a lot of this album I think is kind of bold on her part because she wrote it to spite the fact that she has to write it. um and then there's like for me some of my favorite songs by her: Stay Soft, Heat Lightning, The Only Heartbreaker, Should Have Been Me. Those are absolutely fantastic. But then there's songs like I Guess, and that to me was so weak. Everyone is really weak. um that's Our Lamp. That's Our Lamp was okay. I think it was all right.
That's our we have a lamp.
We do have a lamp, yeah.
God
It's I honestly, I'm still not behind Love Me More. I think Love Me More is obnoxious, and I don't think it was mixed well. So yeah, fight me on it, but I think some of these songs were total hits. Like The Only Heartbreaker, channeling that 80s sound. I mean, this whole album channels a lot of synth and 80s sounds. And I think it does it well, but there's just a certain point where you're like, why were some of these songs on here? Was it a requirement? Maybe I am biased by the context of it, but it just doesn't feel like it was the album that she may have wanted. I feel like it was like you had a deadline and you're putting things on the project. I don't know. So I'm not sure. Laurel Hell's a confusing one for me. It was my first time seeing Mitski live on tour, and she did a brilliant job at performing everything and was super, just like authentic, and which I really appreciate. But yeah, I it leaves me just kind of with question marks a bit.
Is it? I think it's me. If we're
All right.
trying to be consistent. I did not. There were some things I agreed with, some things I disagreed. The first thing you said that I wasn't sure about was Valentine, Texas being like a standout. When I listened the first time, it didn't necessarily turn me off from the album, but it didn't draw me in either. I was just like, it took a couple listens before I was like, okay, this is a good song. And I do think it is a good song, but I don't know, like, if it's the best. I mean, I think she has better intro tracks. And then I think, like, Love Me More 100% is, like, trying to be the nobody of the album, where it's just like it's written to be really catchy, and it is really catchy, but I don't think it has the same like soul and love in it that, I mean, maybe this is the bias of the context, but listening to it before, I always felt that it was just like a little bit like empty of a track. It's like, oh, this is a fun little dance track, I guess, and it's kind of like the Mitski vibe, but it I think it's always been a little grating on me. Like, I don't think it's to the point where it's bad. It's just like I can't listen to it over and over again, and I won't be coming back to it the same way I would with Nobody or Washing Machine Heart. Even though it has like a similar, very up tempo, fun vibe and themes, just because the chorus is kind of mid and grating, even though it's catchy. Yeah.
I agree.
But I think overall I didn't have the same thing where it was best and worst. I thought it was overall like high quality. Um the songs that weren't great I think sounded nice. Like that nothing was difficult for me to listen to on this album. And I think it's really cohesive. Like she picked a sound for this album and really stuck with it, and it's a fun album to listen to all the way through. Um, and so even though I don't think it reaches like the same peaks as honestly any of the last three albums, like not even close, I do think it's at the same level of quality just because I think Mitski at this point in her career has just evolved so much as an artist that she's just like fantastic at writing songs and composing that it just doesn't have weaknesses in the same way that her other ones do. So I honestly like it. I think it's good. And I have it above Bear Meat Makeout Creek. So
You're fucked.
Insane.
You're actually fucked. Like you're actually fucked.
I don't know.
Mentally ill. All right. Laurel Hell. I remember listening to him, like this is a little weird. This is a little weird album. Looking at all the songs, if you told me to sing or replicate anything off of any of them, I don't think I could. But I remember I think I was like, okay, maybe it's all right that I didn't get super into Mitski with when the last album came out. But I guess I like Stay Soft. There's Nothing Left for You. Should have been me, and I guess I also put Love Me More for an 8. So I think I remember it was all right. There's some songs that are a little bit better than others, but nothing really stood out, good or bad. I guess according to my ranking system, I only put it up above Retired and Lush, so
That's
was just kind of, it's all right.
great.
Yeah.
Crazy.
If it were up to me, that B spot's looking nice and open.
It is looking pretty good.
I cannot believe this. I have it in A behind Puberty 2, so
I would be fine
Well,
with that
it's
too.
right below Puberty 2, you know, right here for B.
yeah, but then it's not in the same tier as Bury Me at Makeout Creek, which seems kind of crazy to me.
It's
up to you.
hard.
It's up to you.
It's hard. Because I see it, like I do think it's a solid project, and I will say it's like for me, I'm much more likely to listen to something from Little Hell right now than I am from Bury Me at Makeout Creek. I would be comfortable putting it behind Puberty 2 in the A tier.
All right.
Yeah.
Deal breaker.
Yeah.
This is whatever finalist we have is going to be so far removed from like my own Mitski tier list.
Yeah, it's kind of far from mine already. I mean,
I like it.
Shaw, you want to take?
I don't know if there's a single album that's in any of the placements that I would have for it.
Awesome.
Sick.
All right. I'm doing this one.
I don't. Yeah, I
Okay.
think you.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you should.
The land is inhospitable, and so are we.
Process of elimination.
I was keeping this album, not not locked, but I was like, I'm not gonna listen to the singles. I know we're doing this episode. I'm just gonna listen to everything when it all comes out. So I didn't listen to any of the singles prior, and then the album came out, and I listened to it. First song, I'm like, okay, it was all right. You know, I didn't care for it that much. Um, and then I kept listening. I'm like, oh, this is pretty good. And then I kept listening. I'm like, oh, this is something else. And I finished it, and I'm like, wow, I think that's the best Mitski album she's put out.
Wow.
I was like, Mitski doing like kind of folk, kind of like stuff like that. I was like, where has this been my entire life? Like, I need it. I think I would have been destroyed if Laurel Hell was actually her last album, because this one is so good, and I think it definitely top 5, maybe top 3 of the year for me. So I really like this. I think it's my favorite fall album. I think it's really different from a lot of stuff that she's done before, and it's like a really new sound that I hope she doesn't just kind of get rid of with the next one. I would love to see more folk Mitski. Um, I think for overall, I did think Bug Like an Angel was the weakest, and I just gave it a 7. Everything else is higher than a 7, and then the ones that I gave a 9 were the When Memories Snow, My Love, Mine All Mine, I'm Your Man, I Love Me After You, and then I'd probably bump My Love, Mine All Mine to a 10, and that might be my favorite Mitski song overall. But this one, this is best Mitski for me. So one of you guys can take the wheel.
You go next.
Oh, okay. So, I noticed you skipped over the deal from one of your favorite tracks.
I mean, I just gave it an 8, but I didn't give it a 9.
I think that's a 10 for me. That's a 10
Damn.
track. It's like just such a standout. That was when I was like, okay, I'm really enjoying this new sound. I wasn't sure on Bug Like an Angel at first, like as a single. I was like, this album might not be for me. And then when I heard it on the album, I'm like, okay, wait, this is really great. And then it floated into Buffalo Replaced really well, and then I really like Heaven, and then I Don't Like My Mind. I was a little asleep on. I don't think it's good. I think a lot of people really like it, and I think this is the weakest track on the album for sure, in my opinion. And then after that, it's just like the deal is fantastic, and then every single song is just solid to amazing. And I ended up being really impressed with the album. I love the sound. And it has, yeah, some of I think the all-time great Mitski tracks on it. But I don't think it's gonna end up being as popular as a lot of her other stuff. I think it's
a society
too...
moment.
Yeah, it's very
just
society.
Like our podcast, SocietyCore.
It really is. And that's why we're here for Mitski. I think it's gonna end up being kind of like a hidden gem in the discography. Because it's really beautiful, and it's a little slower and more somber and folky, and I think she really nailed that sound. Yeah, did a fantastic job on the album. Audrey?
Yeah, I'm gonna echo what you both have been saying. I was shocked how much I love this album. I did not expect much. I mean, when this album was announced, it was very last minute. Like, I don't think Mitski wanted this album to be like the commercial successes like Laurel Hell and Beat a Cowboy. And she did renegotiate with her label, so she was able to do things a little bit more on her own terms. So seeing an album come so quickly after Laurel Hell, it makes me think, oh, this is probably some of the more of the stuff she wanted to do. This is more the direction she probably wanted to go in. And Laurel Hell was kind of just like a Laurel Hell was the departure, and it, you know, some of it forced, maybe some of it not, but I adore this album. When Bug Like an Angel came out, I really loved it just for how simple it was, because I think a lot of Mitski's songs are, they try not to be simple. Um and are a little bit over the top. So this is a really interesting opener. It's kind of, yeah, it's somber, it's quiet. I mean, to me, there's like a lot of themes within this album. Um, the title itself to me reads like there's some songs that really remind me of just devastation and climate change, and I think she like echoes a lot of that in the songs throughout the album, but also just isolation and being lonely. Um, I think she focuses less on her surroundings and more on herself. It's like an introspective album, which I really like. I appreciate that. I think her music is introspective in general, but this album probably more so. I think the album really picks up when the deal starts. I mean, from there, it's pretty much just like bangers. But for me, the two weakest tracks were I Don't Like My Mind in Heaven. And they were back to back, so it's like, okay, this is like the lull of the album. But I do think it starts out strong. I love Buffalo Replaced. I think it's really interesting. And again, it's a sound I haven't heard from her before. So I was really, yeah, everything really grew on me. I think some of the most brilliant music she's made, The Deal, I'm Your Man. I mean, those two songs are unreal. And what she does, like at the end with I'm Your Man and the dogs barking and like the
Oh,
yo ho.
it's really
It's
fun.
crazy. It's so cool. She just made a lot of really intentional and creative choices here, and she had a choir on a lot of the album, which is cool. I liked the choral stuff. I like that she was putting that her spin on there. Uh, and overall, it just feels a lot more honest. It feels a lot more like her than Laurel Hell does. So yeah, I really like that she's trying out something new. She takes the risks, but it's also so authentic at the same time. um I wouldn't say it's like quintessential Mitski, but I like that it's not. I like that she is trying something different. It sounds like
It's
it
the
sounds
new world
more,
order
yeah, the new world.
of Mitski.
And I guess while I'm talking about the album, we do have an unboxing. I
Uh-oh.
did order vinyl. The Land is Inhospitable and So Are We. So this one's the pink Aster vinyl. On the outside, it's like this baby blue. I do think, just a side note,
Wait,
as brilliant as the project
look how
is,
unreadable that
none of
is.
this shit is legible. I think the design for this album kind of sucks, unfortunately. Like for as
Yeah.
good as it is, because like Laurel Hell, fantastic in terms of the branding, and Be the Cowboy, same thing. Um, I like the theme she was going for,
It's like
but it was
100
like,
gags font.
yeah, it literally broke my eyes to read it. So, well, I'm opening the middle,
Yeah.
see what's inside, guys.
Also, I mean, the more we talk about the issues with the label, I feel like it's kind of messed up to put Laurel Hell high up. I'm starting to think maybe we rename B tier to bad label and put it in B.
Oh wow, this is so interesting. Whoa, this is crazy.
Whoa, it's
I
got all
can
the
see
words.
everything. That's crazy.
On the inside, on just this tab right here. It's insane. Everything's like broken fragments. They kind of look like
An egg.
anthropological, or what am I trying to say? Like artifacts. They kind of look like artifacts that are broken.
Go like an
Um,
egg.
yeah, it does look like an egg and like a hook right there. This is really cool. So here's the actual vinyl. So
It looks way better on the inside.
it's
Design
really, really pretty.
And I think the font is cool. It reminds me of like Oregon Trail.
So it's this beautiful pink. I love the color. I think it's really nice. I think it's interesting she did pastels for the vinyl. I think it works with the neon. It's kind of looks like an interesting contrast.
Not sponsored, by the way.
Yeah, no sponsor
Had to
here.
make that
No
clear.
sponsorship.
If only SocietyCore could get sponsored.
If only, yeah.
And then this is cool. This
Maybe
is
we
just,
get
like,
you an ad blogger.
yeah, I like it. It's like finding herself in the artifact. I think it's really creative in that sense, but the font is just god awful to read. But anyway, I'm very excited to listen to it on vinyl. So yeah. In terms of what ranking, what are you guys feeling on this one?
For me, it was my favorite. So, if that says
Yeah.
anything.
I agree with S, yeah. Although I do have to shout out the Spotify, you know how they have like the reels that play on Spotify
Canvas.
for some of the what?
It's called Canvas, right?
Yeah. For those on some of the tracks, like her feet are just right up in front of the camera. It's really weird. So that knocks it down to the bottom of S for me, not the top of S.
That's what did it for you. I agree. I think it's S tier, but I think it's the bottom of S tier just because I simply
Alright.
can't do
Yeah.
that to be the cowboy. But it is phenomenal. So
Thoughts on my Laurel Hell proposal?
I'm down to knock
down.
Laurel Health and the B. I originally thought that was fine. So
Let's go.
I love it.
Wow.
This is solid, guys. I feel good about this.
If I think this would be my tier list now if I just had to switch. No, never mind. I still have to switch two things, but this is pretty good. We tier listed Mitski.
Hell yeah. Any viewers in the chat
I don't know if anybody's
berate
still
us
here.
about our takes? That's crazy.
We got one
Or
viewer.
perhaps the next artist that you guys are gonna choose.
No.
Oh wait, before we do next artist, I think we should announce the contest that I already announced, the end of the Elliott Smith stream. But I will be posting it officially, and there's already a link in our Instagram bio for to the template. So all you have to do is download the template, use whatever like website or editing software to create a top text bottom text meme featuring our new logo / mascot, and then send it to us on Instagram. Just DM it to us. They should be open, and we will do either before the next artist stream or a separate stream depending on the next artist, because I don't know who they are. We'll do a stream going through the submissions and then picking our favorite to be the official SocietyCore logo. Yeah.
SocietyCore.
Yeah, very SocietyCore.
Christ.
All right.
Next
artist?
All right,
Your
next
pick?
artist. My pick. I was telling Aiden, I'm like, hey, I have a pick, but if this band announces a new album, I might have to choose them instead, and I'm sorry in advance. I think like last Thursday. What day was it? It was a thing this week. So if we had done the stream like a week,
I know what it is.
like a week earlier, I think we would have been fine. But 4 days ago, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard announced their 25th studio album, The Spinal Cord. So I think that's gonna be our next choice for SocietyCore's ranking all 25 King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard albums.
That's gonna be a full day stream. It's gonna be a 24-hour stream.
Comes out October 27th.
I'm so excited.
That's very
Oh,
exciting.
I think we have to say bye to our special guest.
Thank you so much for having me, SocietyCore. It's great.
Thanks
and
for
I
dropping the Mitski
really am
board.
excited to not be part of the King Gizzard.
No, I'm gonna have it blast. I'm not gonna listen to a single song with headphones on. I'll be blasting it in our apartment. Just kidding.
King Gizzard.
It's really 25.
It's going to
just
be
gonna look
25. The 25th is going to be the new one. But what's funny is that they technically have other stuff that people would. There's a one EP that came out, and then there's like 14 bootlegs. There's a remix album. There's also a compilation album of other previous work, but there's going to be 25 studio albums.
I'll do the studio ones.
Yeah. There's 25.
I'm trying to find. As of 2019, the playlist was nine.
Oh, they
Nine.
released 5 albums last year.
I'm gonna shoot myself.
They...
I mean, hell yeah! I love this stream
In
that we've
2020, I think since 2020 they released 10 albums so far.
All right, I'm gonna make a playlist, and I'm gonna add every King Gizzard album to it, and then we're gonna find out how long that playlist is. And we normally listen to every album multiple times, so
This one, since there's so many, this one's up to you how many times you want to listen to them.
Yeah, for sure.
I've listened to every album like 10 times, so I think I already know my opinions.
Willowbee's Beach, correct?
So that one is technically not an album, it is an EP, but I think it is the best starting point.
Okay, so we're gonna add that.
All right.
And then we're gonna add
12
Bar Brews.
That's the... never mind, I won't give my opinions yet, but...
Yeah, and then we're gonna add Eyes Like the Sky.
Oh, God.
Kill me. Then we're gonna add Float Along, Fill Your Lungs. Alright. Then we're gonna add Oddments. That album covers a lot to look at, but kind of cool. Then we're gonna add I'm in Your Mind Fuzz. Oh, I've heard some songs. This was their first like popular album,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, I've heard some songs after that.
Then it's Quarters, right?
And Quarters.
Paper Mache.
4 10-minute and 10-second long songs.
Yeah, Quarters.
Then we're gonna add. I'm gonna listen to that one. Oh, Paper Mache Dream Balloon. I know some songs off this. This is a like cool indie one.
Acoustic.
That's not garage rock.
Acoustic.
Yeah. Then Nonagon Infinity. Already listened to it. Banger multiple times.
Then the 2017 suite.
Yeah, I've heard Flying Microtonal Bananas like
they
their
released
best.
5 albums that year.
Murder of the Universe. I've heard a couple tracks off that as well.
Sketches
of Brunswick East.
They did with Mild High Club.
Fucking God. I'm not the biggest fan of Mild High Club, to be honest, so. Yeah. Polygon No Wanna Land. Now that's an album title. Gumboot Soup. Fucking Christ, dude. How do they do it? Oh, Fishing for Fishies.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then Infest the Rat's Nest.
Are you looking at something, or do you just know
No,
this?
I just know them.
God damn. Chunky Shrapnel. That's a really good album.
So we don't have to include that one. It is a live album. There are 3 tracks on it that are studio tracks. So.
Okay.
But most of it's a live album.
Okay. KG.
And then LW.
Kyle Gass.
KG and then LW.
Like Last Whisper, the
like
item
King Gizzard, Lizard Wizard.
That makes sense. Oh, Butterfly 3000. I listened to this when it came. Oh,
crazy.
It was good.
And then we have the 5 albums they released in 2022.
Made in Timeland.
It's just 2 songs.
God fucking damn it. Omnium Gatherum. Yep. The Lore.
That's the 20th album.
Ice, Death, Planets, Lungs, Mushrooms, and Lava. They gave up a little with that title, gotta be honest.
And then it's the sequel to Made in Timeland.
Oh, Exchanges, Pog. That's they got Bowie on the track. I'm not gonna say that title. But I've heard this album.
Petrodragonic Apocalypse, or Dawn of the Eternal fucking something, Damnation and Eternal Merciless.
I listen to this, I think. You played a lot of it for me, and then I don't know if
the last album isn't out yet, so probably add like another 40 minutes.
We are at we're at I gotta remove which was the
Chunky Shrapnel. Chunky Shrapnel.
Okay. For sure. Oh, that's a lot of runtime actually.
It's like 2 hours.
Yeah, we're like 18 hours, 17 hours. Multiple days of King Gizzarding my wizard.
It's Giztober too.
Oh fuck yeah.
Last year was Giztober because they released 3 albums in October.
Uh, I wish there was an easier way to do this. Oh, there probably is on mobile. Whoops. Let me
What?
open
Check
up.
the length.
No, remove multiple
Oh.
songs at once. Options, edit. Oh, there is. Okay, I just go until I see chunky shrapnel, and then I press minus. It was after no, it's after infest. Okay, minus, 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 minus. Save. We are at 17 hours and 9 minutes of my life devoted, plus whatever the album length for the next one is, which I'm sure it's going to be
So it's
at
gonna be
least
over 18. No, what's really funny? They're releasing 2 editions of the album. There's the regular album, and then there's a second version of the album where every single song is extended.
Oh,
I don't know why they're doing that.
so that's really cool. So that's really fun and
This
cool.
is just gonna be worth it for me to like see you suffer, you know?
Just because I make you listen to Weezer, which is a beautiful experience that everyone loved and spawned this wonderful project.
You know, I lost a year of my life due to that. The Weezer tier list. You might lose more than 1 year of your life due to the King Gizzard.
Probably. God damn it! All right. I mean, at least it's good music, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
At least it's not like playing Russian roulette with every album like Weezer was.
Jesus Christ.
And I think every Mitski album was worth a listen too, as was every Elliott Smith album to me.
That's great for you.
Yeah. Hey, there were only 7 albums, okay? You couldn't have had that at a time.
No, yeah. I don't know if I'll be going back to any of the albums except for Bury Me and This Land Is Inhospitable. But it was worth it for the last album because I definitely would not have touched that shit at all.
Yeah. All right.
All right, and time to end the stream.
Everyone, don't forget about the contest. I'll be posting about it shortly.
Thanks for tuning in. See you guys. Maybe not next month, but
Hopefully.
we'll be. I was gonna try to make some joke about our fans being SocietyCores, and I can't think of one.
That's okay.
See you next time. Bye bye.